Hi all of you. In this class, you are going to learn about electric current. Already in the 8th class, we have studied some about electric current. Now in the 10th class, its extension you are going to learn. Already you know the lightning is the daily life example for the electric current, where the lightning, there the flow of electric current is due to the flow of charge from cloud to cloud or else from cloud to earth. Already you have studied in your 8th class about how to make a simple circuit. So in this, let's see what are the essential things required to make a circuit to allow the current to flow. See here, this is a symbol of battery that is we use in the circuit diagrams. So here, this positive sign represents this is one positive terminal of a battery, and this negative sign indicates negative terminal of a battery. If you see a battery on it, you can find at one end a positive symbol, at another end a negative symbol. That is, one is a positive terminal and another one is a negative terminal. See here, a bulb is connected to a battery through insulated copper wire with the help of connecting wires. See here, these are the insulated copper wires, a bulb, and here there is an arrangement of a switch. When the switch is on, the circuit is closed, then current flows in the circuit. So we can know the flow of current in the circuit by observing the glowing of a bulb. When you off the switch, or open the circuit, both are same. When you off the switch, circuit become open, then current does not flow in the circuit. When you on the switch, means circuit become close, then current flows in the circuit, bulb glows. See here, this is one situation. So here battery is a source of power. Now see here in the situation 2. In the situation 2, we are using the same electric bulb and the same copper wire and the same switch. But here we removed a battery and connected the two terminals of the two ends of wire together. Okay. So here the circuit is now on the switch. On the switch means closing the circuit. Okay. But you can't observe any glow of a bulb. That means here there is a bulb. There are conducting wires, that is insulated copper wires, and the switch is in the on condition, even though, so we can't observe the glowing of a bulb. That means the current is not flowing. Why the current is not flowing means, so here there is no source of power. So with this we can understand, to make a flow of current in the circuit, the source of power is essential. Okay. So without a source of power, current does not flow in the circuit. So here bulb is not glowing means current is not flowing. So because there is no any power source, there is no a battery. Okay. So from the first case we learned that a closed circuit is required for the flow of current. From the situation 2 you learned that a source of power is required for the flow of current. Now see here in the situation 3 there is a bulb, okay, there is a switch arrangement and there is a source of power also. But here instead of insulated copper wires, so here we connected a bulb to the battery through nylon wires instead of copper wires. So here I used nylon wires. So in this case we can't observe any glow of a bulb. So here bulb is not glowing means current is not flowing in the circuit. So here no doubt you on the switch. Even if you on the switch but you can't observe any glow of a bulb means current is not flowing in the circuit. So here there is a closed circuit, the switch is closed, there is a source of power even though the current is not flowing means, so here we used nylon wires and these wires are not carrying the energy from battery to a bulb to make it a glow. That means these nylon wires are not conducting the electric energy, not conducting the electric current. Okay. So with these three situations we can understand for the flow of current a closed circuit is required and that circuit should be made with okay conducting wires and a power source. A closed circuit is required and that a closed circuit must be connected to a source of power. That means with these three situations we can understand okay a power source is required for making the flow of current and a closed circuit is required, that means switch should be in on condition and that a closed circuit must be constructed using insulated copper wires, using conducting wires. Okay. So these three must for making the circuit. Okay. So for the flow of current that is conducting wires, that means metallic wires or else conducting wires required and closed circuit and source source of power, that means a battery generator etc must required. So in this if anything is absent that means there is no flow of current. Now see here in situation 3, so why that is in the case of in the place of insulated copper wires if we use any plastic nylon rubber wires, okay, any thread okay use, current not flows. Okay. Now see here for this scientist Drude and Lorentz proposed in the 19th century. Okay, there are some conducting materials, metals. They can have free electrons. Okay, metals can have positive charge nuclei and around the positive charge nuclei there are the electrons. So in those some electrons are free, that is free electrons are available, they can move freely throughout the material but not comes out. and those free electrons are responsible for the flow of current through them. So why here the current is not flowing through the nylon, rubber, plastic wires means, so these are the nylon, rubber, plastic, they don't have any free electrons in them. Whereas if you take any metallic wires, then current flows through the wires means those can have free electrons in them. That means some materials only can conduct the electricity and some materials do not conduct the electricity. So materials which conduct the electricity are called as conductors, whereas materials which do not conduct the electricity are called as non-conductors. So materials which conduct electricity can have free electrons in them. So those free electrons are responsible for the conduction of electricity. Suppose if you take that is a sodium metal, so a small part of a sodium metal can have millions numbers of sodium atoms. So sodium sodium atom atomic number is 11. So in those the 11th electron is outermost orbit electron, that is a free electron. So one sodium atom can have one free electron. So a small part of sodium metal can have millions numbers of sodium atoms, and those sodium atoms can have millions numbers of free electrons, and these can free throughout the material but not out of the material. See here, the material which transfers energy from battery to the bulb is called a conductor, and the material which cannot transfer energy from battery to the bulb is called a non-conductor. So here we used a copper wire. So this copper wire can transfer the energy from battery to the bulb. So that's why bulb glows. But here whereas, so here we used nylon wires. So these nylon wires don't have any free electrons in them. So nylon wires not transfers the energy from battery to the bulb. That's why bulb not glows. Okay. Now see here, when the metallic wires which have free electrons in them are connected to a battery or else any power source, then only they conduct the electricity. Okay. Suppose if you take a open circuit, that means simply a metallic conductor, let us take 1 meter of copper wire. If you take 1 meter of copper wire, you can't notice any electric current in it. But if you connect it to a battery, then you can notice that a flow of current through it. Suppose if you connect any bulb, any small bulb in the circuit. But when you take 1 meter of a copper wire, okay, so at anywhere if you cut the wire and connect a bulb, then you can't observe any glowing of bulb. That means if you take a 1 meter of copper wire, you can't notice any electric current. Okay. Why there is a flow of current through a metallic wire, through a conducting wire, when it is connected to a battery only? Why there is no flow of current through it when it is not connected to a battery? Okay. Now let's take that situation here. It is a conducting wire, and here its ends are not connected to any power source. Okay. See here in this situation, these are the free electrons. These are the free electrons lying in a conductor, and see here their order of motion. So in the options of a power source, see the electrons are moving randomly in a different directions. Okay, in the options of power source, that is a conductor can have free electrons in the free electrons, and those free electrons move randomly in a different direction. Okay, suppose if you take any cross sectional area in a conductor, see here, there is no any net charge flowing through this surface area, either from left to right or else right to left. Okay, that means see here some electrons are moving from left to right and some electrons are moving from right to left. That means here the current due to motion of electrons from left to right is cancelled by the current due to the motion of electrons from right to left. That means here current due to motion of one electron is cancelled by the current due to its opposite motion of electron. That means here there is no any net charge flowing in one particular direction through any cross sectional area. So that's why here the current I is equals to 0. That means there is no current. Suppose when the two ends of a conductor, when two ends of a conductor are connected to the two terminals of a battery, that means to a power source. See here what happening. All the electrons are lying in one order and moving. Okay. So when the two ends of a conductor are connected to a power source, battery or else a generator, all the electrons in a conductor are lying in one particular order. Okay, that means this ordered motion of electrons is constituting electric current. Whereas in the options of electric current, in the options of a power source, the electrons are moving randomly in different directions. There is no motion of a net charge through any cross sectional area in any one particular direction. That's why electric current I is equals to 0. But whereas here, when the two ends of a conductor are connected to two terminals of a battery, all the electrons are lying in one particular direction and moving, and this ordered motion of electrons constituting an electric current. Okay. Now let's see here how to define an electric current. Okay. So let's take any cross sectional area in a conductor, in a conductor. Okay, let's take this area, any cross sectional area, and assume there is a capital Q charge is flowing, capital Q charge is flowing through this cross sectional area in t seconds of time. Then the flow of charge in 1 second, in t seconds of time, capital Q charge is flowing through the taken cross sectional area. Then the charge flowing through the taken cross sectional area in 1 second is equals to what? Q by T, and this is the electric current. That means the flow of charge through any cross sectional area in 1 second is the flow of electric current. So electric current I is equals to Q by T. Okay. So we can also define electric current I is equals to Q by T, that is the rate of flow of a charge. This is the flow of charge. So this is the time with respect to time. The flow of charge with respect to time is called as the rate of flow of charge. The rate of flow of charge is called as electric current I is equals to Q by T. See here the rate of flow of charge exactly can be written as dq by dt. I is equals to dq by dt. That is the rate of flow of charge is called as electric current. Or else in t seconds of time, if a capital Q charge flows through any given a cross sectional area, then the flow of current I is equals to, we can written as Q by T. Okay. So here Q is a charge, can measure in measures in coulomb, and time can measures in second. Okay. So current can measure in amperes. Okay. 1 ampere is equals to 1 coulomb by 1 second. When the flow of current is said to be 1 ampere, suppose to the given cross sectional area, if 1 coulomb of charge flows in 1 second, then the flow of current is said to be 1 ampere. Okay. The flow of current is said to be 1 ampere when 1 coulomb of charge flows through any given cross sectional area in 1 second. So this is the way of defining the ampere. Okay. Okay. The flow of current is said to be 1 ampere if 1 coulomb of charge flows through the given cross sectional area in 1 second. Okay. So this is 1 ampere. Now see here, why do electrons move in a specified direction? In the absence of power source, the electrons can move randomly in different directions in a conductor, whereas when two ends of a conductor are connected to the two terminals of a power source, all the electrons move in a particular specified direction. So why electrons are moving in a particular specified direction when the two ends of a conductor are connected to a battery means, so here the battery must be exerting the force on the electrons to move in one direction. That means see here, when two ends of a conductor are connected to a battery, then that source sets up the electric field along a conductor, and that electric field forces the electrons to move in a particular direction. So because of that, the electrons are moving in one specified direction when a conductor is connected to the power source. Okay. So this is the reason why the electrons are moving in a specified direction. Okay. Yes. So when the two ends of a battery are connected to a two terminals of a sorry two when the two ends of a conductor when two ends of a conductor are connected to a two terminals of a battery, then the electric field the electric field set up along the length of the conductor, and that electric field forces the electrons to move in one specified direction, and that ordered motion of electrons can constitute electric current. Okay. Now let's see here. Okay. So are electrons move in a in a specified direction in a smooth way or not? Let's see here. Okay. So conductor consists of, okay, that is its atoms. Atoms can have its positive charge nuclei and innermost electrons and outermost electrons, and those are called as free electrons. Okay. Yes. So while moving these free electrons, they can collide with that is a positive charge nuclei which are remains at rest. Those positive charge nuclei are called as lattice. That means that these electrons can collide with a positive charge lattice. Okay. See here, the electrons are accelerated by the electric field, and these electrons can collide with a positive charge lattice. Okay. So their velocity decreases and they come to a halt, and again they accelerate by the electric field, and again they collide with the positive charge nuclei, and again come to halt, and again get accelerate. See here, the motion of electrons in a conductor is not a smooth one like how water flows in a pipe. Okay. So they may collide with a positive charge nuclei. See here, So here electron is traveling from here to there by undergoing a number of collisions. See here. So this is the actual path of electron, okay, traveling from at one position to another position. It suffers a number of collisions. Okay, so that means we take the average velocity or else the average speed of electrons, and it is a constant. Okay, that means the constant average speed of electrons in a conductor is called as a drift speed and a drift velocity. So because of a number of collisions, okay, after a number of collisions, it attains some constant average speed, and that constant average speed is called as a drift speed or else drift velocity. The constant average speed of electrons in a conductor is called drift speed and a drift velocity. So why electrons have drift speed or else drift velocity means, so because of okay, the number of collisions between the electrons and the positive charge lattice. Okay.